We're going to explain the ELD as fast as I can, but be thorough about it. Now, this is not a lesson on how to manage your clock. That's coming. Or at least suggestions on how to manage your clock. But today, I'm going to show you the basics of the ELD and what you need to know and why you need to know it. Let's check it out. All right, so here is the PeopleNet ELD that my company, Schaefer Trucking, uses, okay? This is your E-log home screen. As you can see, I have not reset from last night, okay? So we need to go ahead and do a couple things to get our day started. The very first thing you're going to notice is this options key right here. Let's take a look at that. When you click the options key, if you look, it has something about editing your power unit number. We don't ever mess with that. But then you have review logs, request logs, diagnostics, and cycle duty summary and roadside inspection. The three that we're going to worry about today explaining are the review logs, request logs, and cycle duty summary. So let's go ahead and do the very first thing that I do every day, which is review my logs. We're going to click on it, and it's going to bring up my yesterday before midnight 24-hour clock. Let's go ahead and hit the grid. That makes it easier to look at. Bam, look at there. There's my clock from yesterday. Off duty, sleeper berth, drive, on duty. You got my on duty time and everything, okay? So we're going to look at it and go, yep, that looks right. And then we want to hit certify. So we hit certify, and then you're going to enter. Look outside at all the pretty stuff. What I'm entering is my password for my PeopleNet, right? Bring you back now. If you look, you're going to enter it, and it says, I certify my entries, blah, 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 blah. Everything's good for the 24-hour period, blah, 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 blah. And you hit, if you don't want to do anything, you're just looking at it, you hit not ready. But when you're ready to certify your logs, this is the same as signing your paper log. This is it. So you hit you put whatever information you need to put in there, which for us is our password, and you hit agree. There we go, right? Bam, look at there. Now, if you notice, there's no yellow triangle, but there's something I still need to do. Step 2, every day, options, request your logs. Now, you hit it, and it'll say, are you sure you want to request your logs for me? Yes, I do. Now, this is kind of important, because what you're doing here, this is my understanding of it, okay? When you request your logs, what you're doing is you're syncing up the time of your logs with what Lincoln has, okay? If you didn't request your logs, at least every other day or every 3 days, something like that, see, the logs have been received, bam. And it doesn't do anything else. But what you're doing is you're syncing up your logs with Lincoln, okay? And you're preventing time drift. Now, it's never happened to me, but I do know one person it happened to, and they ended up having to sit. They were put out of service. The easiest way to prevent drifting in your time and your hours is request your logs. Now, I just do it every day. I mean, I'm sitting here, I got the options, whatnot. I'm just doing it. So I review my logs, I approve my logs, and then I request my logs every day. So far, we've been doing this video for 3 minutes, right? That's how long it took. But let me show you the last thing. Options, cycle duty summary. Right there. See, look at that. Bam, let's take a look at that. There you go. There's your 7-day right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sorry, it's your 8-day calendar thing. But what you're looking at is, this is what you're going to get back tonight, tomorrow night, the next night, the next night, the next night, so on and so forth, right? You need to, if you need to know what your 70 looks like and your week graph, there it is. Cycle duty summary under the options menu. Okay? And if you look at it, right here it tells you how much time I've used, how much time I've got remaining on my 70 as of midnight, and then how much I'm going to get back at midnight tonight, Central Time. So I've got 12 hours, and tonight I gained back 8. Ta-da! And if you look, this number right here, how much you're going to gain back tonight, will be if you add your drive and your on-duty time. Okay? Pretty simple. So let's talk about, there's technically 4 lines, right? But there's a 5th. We're going to talk about the 4 real fast and furious. The easy one, drive. Drive is when you're driving the truck. You're not doing on-duty yard moves. You're not doing any of that. Nope, you're just driving the truck. You're going from point A to point B, okay? Drive line. That's what we're paid to do. When you're moving freight or you're going to get some freight, that's what you're doing, okay? Then you've got on-duty. On-duty is whenever you're doing stuff for the truck. Like I'm getting fuel, I've arrived at the shipper, I've arrived at consignee, I'm doing whatever pre-trip. That's all on-duty time, okay? That's the time that you spend doing what you're doing. Now, clarification. When you arrive at a shipper and when you arrive at a consignee, you're not on duty the whole time unless you're working. Normally, you do between 15 and 20 minutes on duty time. Why? Because, literally, 15 to 20 minutes is plenty of time to check in, go sit down, wait for a dock door, back into a dock door, and get out. Unless you're doing something, you're off duty, right? That's it. That's all there is to it. If you're sitting in a dock door and they're unloading you, you're not on duty. There's no reason for that, okay? Your on-duty time is what you're doing to get to that dock door. And if they put you in a holding pattern, all right, I want you to go over there and park and wait until we call you, then as soon as you park, you're off duty. And then your on-duty yard moves to go from there to the dock door unless, okay, you're in the middle of a sleeper berth and you're parked on their property. You can do minimus move, whatever, some Latin word. It's PC on the property, okay? As long as you're on their property and you don't want to break your 10-hour break to move, you can do min move, is what I usually put in there if I have to do it. Call logs, 1-800-998-9100, option 2, option 3 gives you logs. Ask for clarification on that, okay? Let's go to home. There we go. So, we've covered on duty, we've covered drive. Let's cover sleeper berth. Sleeper berth is what? Anytime you go in the back. When you go in the back and you're on the bed, your sleeper berth, right? Your sleeper berth back there. With the exception, like I used to smoke, right? If I leave my sleeper berth and came up front to smoke a cigarette, I did not have to break sleeper berth. I don't smoke in my back. I don't smoke at all now, but I didn't smoke in the back. I only smoked in my driver's seat or passenger seat. So there's that bit of information, okay? Sleeper berth is when you're in the back. Now, you might want to get clarification on this part, but I did talk to somebody who's on highway patrol, and the clarification is if you're in sleeper berth, law enforcement cannot mess with you unless it's imminent safety. All right, you park on them somewhere you're not supposed to park or whatever like that, they can knock on the door and get you to move. So there is that part. Off duty. Off duty is 2 things. Off duty is when you are home, you're off. You're off the truck, you're at home. That's off duty time. Off duty is also, say you go to a terminal, a truck stop, whatever, and you're not in the back, but you're not working. So you go in, you're going to go eat dinner, whatever, you're off duty. You have to make sure that you log sleeper berth time every day. If you're in your truck on the road away from home, you need to log sleeper berth unless you are not sleeping in the truck. If you stay somewhere and you're like, oh, I got a friend in this town or whatever, and you go to stay with your friend, perfectly fine. Okay, cool. Or, you did decide to get a hotel, or you're at the terminal, and they put you up in a hotel, okay? So there's those are things for that. Now, the one I'm not really going to cover too much is PC, except to tell you that PC is when you treat your truck like your personal vehicle. Again, if you have questions and you work for Creek, Schaefer, or Hunt, 1-800-998-9100, extension 2 or option 2, option 3, put you with logs, get clarification for personal conveyance, okay? It's just the safest thing to do. You don't want to be in trouble with it. You don't want law enforcement to get you for it, so just be careful, and that's all there is to that. Okay, so what else? We covered off duty, you covered sleeper berth, you covered drive, you covered on duty, you covered PC and where to get clarification on that. Make sure that you log as you go. Period. That's it. Our logs for Creek Schaefer are right down to the second, like literally the second. I just got my reset. So with that being said, I wish you well. That is just a breakdown of how to do it. Okay. If you have questions about logs and this doesn't clarify it, 1-800-998-9100, option 2, option 3 for Creek and Schaefer, put you with the logs department, or ask your fleet manager, terminal manager, or your asset manager. If they can't answer it, they'll put you to somebody who can. All right. And if you work for another company, the basics here are pretty much the same, with the exception of personal conveyance. Everything else applies to you the way I explained it. All right. Drive is drive for everybody. Off duty is everybody. On duty is everybody. And sleeper berth is everybody. That applies across the way. Not every company gives you PC, but if you did, don't abuse it. All right. Law enforcement does look at that when they do your logs. So other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. My name is Rob. I work for Schaefer Trucking. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment below, or you can email me the attached email. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Rubber side down, shiny side up. See you down the road.